to Hey Dee podcast. I am live on YouTube and Facebook, but you can find me on Instagram as Hey podcast. So today we have special guests, Bridget Tolbert and Shelly Price, fitness coaches and trainers. Bridget is an ex-NPC competitor, and she is the author of the book The Wait is Over. So, hi, ladies. How are you guys doing today? Thank you for
Hi.
being so patient.
Pretty good.
So let's see. We had tons of people on. I don't know where they went, but we'll get started here. Our show today is about health, fitness, wellness, eating, and the whole nine in the African American community. I'm going to start with some questions that I wanted to ask the ladies, and then we can just go from there. I'm going to start with you, Shelly. So what was the reason why you got started? How did you get started in health, fitness, wellness, coaching, training, and the whole nine? What prompted you to start doing this? Take care of yourself.
Great question. So I am originally from Chicago and was a military spouse, and finally ended up here in the Northern Virginia, DC area through my job. And I moved here in 2018, and it was in the summer months, like August, and everything was just as the winter months rolled in. I got really sick, and went and did all my blood work and everything at the doctor, and they were like, "Oh, you're fine. You could probably work on lowering your cholesterol, but other than that, you're fine." I was like, "Okay, well, there's no way I should feel this way." Like I was always freezing cold internally, and being from Chicago, I think I can handle the snow, but it was just like I was internally cold and lethargic, low energy, the whole nine. And then I started to experience like some hair loss and just really weird things going on. I'm like, well, is it because I'm older and I'm getting older? What is going on? And so I ended up going to a doctor of Chinese medicine because I lived overseas in Japan for 3 years and had experienced medicine and the medical field in a totally different light than how they do things here in the United States. They prescribe here, but there they to get down to the knit and grit on your body naturopathically. I found a doctor here in the Chantilly, Virginia area, and he also did like acupuncture and the whole nine. And it was that I had a lot of inflammation and poor circulation in my body, and he was like, "You've got a low of sugar and dairy." And so the sugar part, I was just like, "You are crazy if you think I'm going to give up sugar. Like, there's no way." And he said,
I think that's the hardest part for everybody.
Yes. He said, "No problem. I will see you every week for $80 a week, and you can drink this tea that he had a pharmacy. He was like an apothecary. And so he had a pharmacy of these teas that taste like dirty water. But they worked, and it was a 2-week supply for an additional $85. So we were looking at over $320 a month, or you just give up
you don't want
sugar.
to stop eating sugar.
Yeah. And he was just like, I don't mind you coming here every week. It was a lucrative business for him. And so he got me squared away after I committed to letting, because the dairy wasn't a big deal, but the sugar was the hardest part. And I had no idea that the effect I had no idea the effect of sugar long term had on my body, and the inflammation. And it's kind of like, I started to feel better, but I was like, I want to go further and really understand what's going on. And my friends that were still in Japan, these 30 days, put me in that. Whatever you're doing because you look great, saying, I feel so much better. And I'm like, okay. And it was like 30-day challenge was no soy, no sugar, no dairy, no caffeine, no alcohol. And so I said, okay, I can do this for 30 days. I can let go of the wine. I can do this for 30 days. And so after the 30 days, I felt amazing. And it was for a fraction of the cost of what I was paying this doctor every
Right.
week.
It was
Right.
And so I was like, okay,
right.
I found the key, you know. And that's really what started the journey for me, because I knew that I wanted to be healthy for my children. I wanted to
Right.
leave a legacy of health to my children, not
Right.
just, you know, we try to leave the of wealth. That was like a big buzzword, legacy, legacy. And what's the point if
Mm-hmm.
I am sick? You know, and what's the point if my sons have to decide what are we going to do with her, or where are we going to put her because she's sick and we can't take care of her?
Right.
And
Right.
they
Right.
tell me all these wonderful things like, "Oh, mommy, we would take care of you." No, no. No, thank you. I want and live, you know, have some longevity. And so after the
Right.
30 days, I just kind of got, you know, hooked on that philosophy of letting go of the sugar, which was the real culprit.
Right.
And I started to realize that, you know, you can't put, you know, new wine into old wineskins. So I had to
Right.
change.
Right.
I had to change my whole mindset, my whole way of thinking. And that's really how I got into like having better health. And it was like I was just playing around on Facebook when I posted my videos because
I
and so I
think
was
it's
like, well, let
breaking
me
up.
use what I have. Okay, it's showing that it's low connectivity. Is it back?
Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead. Keep talking. There you go.
So, you know, once, you know, I started to feel better, I was, you know, doing things in the gym. And then when we were confined to our homes due to the pandemic, I did not want to lose what I had worked so hard for, because by that time I had
Right.
hired a personal trainer. That was expensive, you know, and it was like I'm not
Right.
gonna gain COVID weight, you know. So I just began to look around and say, okay, what do I have in my home that I can use that I've always had? I've always had like a set of dumbbells and stuff like that. And then Amazon quickly they got even deeper into my pockets because I was like ordering more stuff to accommodate my workouts at home. And then it just grew from there. I just kind of caught this fitness fever and decided to go for my certification for a personal trainer and doing nutrition and trying to get certified for that because people are sick and they don't
Yes.
know what to do. And I think they'd be motivated to
Right.
do certain things if you have the right mindset, you know, to help them. And it's not about
Mhm.
um, money; it's about pouring into this person and really showing them that there is a better way, you know. And it's like I can testify now and say, at 50 years old, I'm healthier than I was at 30 years old. So I
Right.
and
Isn't
I
that
and
something?
just
How you feel much better?
Uh,
I do. I feel 100% better. I
That's
really
good.
do. So,
So, Shelly,
yeah.
how would one get a hold of you for your services?
Well, I just started personal training locally here in this area. I'm I'm just starting out, so I don't have a website just yet. And I'm
Mhm.
looking
Okay.
to get a platform to like some virtual training. Most people have reached out to me on Instagram, just DM me and say, hey, you know, I'm interested in this, that, and the other, because some people want just the program. Some people are like, no, I need to see you. I need you to work me out.
Mhm.
You know, that type of thing. So most people are reaching out to me via Instagram.
And what's your Instagram? So
Shelly
we all know.
Price.
I put it
Yeah.
under the screen if you guys can see it. Shelly Price on
Yeah.
There it
IG.
is.
I
If
keep
you
it a
guys
little
want to get
real
in touch
easy.
with her in the Virginia area, right? I'm gonna read this off here because it was funny you mentioned inflammation. That was going to be one of the topics I talked about or mentioned it in the podcast. But sugar does cause table sugar causes inflammation.
Inflammation.
Mhm.
High fructose corn syrup are the two types of added sugar in Western diets. They put it in everything. Artificial trans fat, refined carbohydrates, excessive alcohol, and processed meat. I do not eat processed meat. Have not eaten in I don't know how long. But a lot of that stuff will cause inflammation and cause illnesses in the body. And a lot of people don't even know what's wrong with them. So kudos to you for going to a homeopathic doctor. We're going to go to you, Bridget. I want to ask you the same question. What got you started? Why? How?
Yeah.
And when?
Okay, so I am Bridget Tobert, and I am originally from Colorado, born and raised. I live in Georgia now. Is finally over. Here we go. The wait is finally
okay.
over.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, so I've been in Georgia now. It'll be 2 years in about 2 months. I can't believe it. But this is what happened in Colorado, why I started, how I got into fitness. It all started, well, let's see. I'm going to make a long story short. I was married at the time, and my ex-husband used to go to bodybuilding competitions. And I was never interested in bodybuilding competitions. Just wasn't anything. I thought the men looked like women, the women looked like men. So I wasn't interested. We went to, he had asked me to go to a show, and I thought, why not? I'll go. So I started stuffing my purse with snacks. Let me just say that, because I knew nothing at the bodybuilding competitions would be healthy. I knew this.
I remember this story.
We go,
Really?
and yes, we're out in the audience, and I'm looking. Now, granted, I had just had a baby. My son was 10 months old. So I'm about 170, 180 pounds, I'm comfortable. I'm probably a 12, 13 size. And to me, I was happy I was married. So I'm in the audience, and I see the competition, bodybuilders come out, women, and then figure came in the bikini suits. And I was like, wow, I want to look like that. And so, because these women look like women, they just look like bikini, but they had some muscle tone, but they weren't,
Right.
overly toned. Now, don't get me wrong, to each his own. I just wasn't interested at the time. However, I said, I want to look like that. And so as they went on, it was a long show, intermission came. And the first thing I did, beeline to outside to go get me a cheesecake, coffee. I was trying to do everything. I went to McDonald's, and I put McDonald's in my purse. I was smelling like Big Mac and fries, like with all these healthy people.
Didn't hear her yet, Shelly.
Yeah. And so I'm in my purse, and I'm just like, and my husband at the time is looking at me, and he's shaking his head. And I'm like, so I'm eating my food. I even had some cheesecake. I mean, I was stuffed down, good to go. The women came out again, and I was like, I want to look like that. And believe it or not, the one thing he said to me, he looked at me and said, you'll never be able to look like that. And I was like, so I didn't say anything then, but it bothered me. You don't tell women we can't do something. I'm like, what? Now, when he said that, you guys got to, because I get animated. I get really excited about this story. So after he said that, I mean, I kept eating my Big Mac. I wasn't going to let that go to waste, and my cheesecake and stuff. So later on after the show, on the ride home, it still bugged me. So I says, honestly, I really want to do this. And he said, well, I'll look for you a trainer, but if I get you a trainer and it doesn't work out, don't say, I didn't try. I said, okay, that's fine. A couple of weeks go by, nothing. I'm like, hey, did you find that trainer? Nope. 3 weeks go by. He finally found me a trainer. So I go to the trainer, And I sit down and she's giving me all, everything. She's like, when do you want to do a show? And I'm like, well, the first one coming. And she was like, well, that's in about 3 months. And I was like, well, I'm in. So I bit off more than I could chew. I didn't realize doing a competition and dieting and living a healthy lifestyle. I mean, it's a whole nother world, and you really got to know what you're getting yourself into. So I must admit, the first week I failed. I threw the diet food out the window, pulled up in drive-through, got me some junk food, and then I started lying to my husband at the time because he was like, how's it going? I'm like, oh, it's going great. But I was lying. I was sneaking and eating junk. And then it wasn't until I went back to the trainer in about 3-4 weeks, and she was like, you know what? I tell you what. She closed the book after she did my measurements, and she said, just go get a pizza and a beer. I'm not going to take your money and waste your money because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And at that moment, I think I even started crying because I told her I was doing the diet. She was like, scientifically, your body has no choice but to give. So if you do what I tell you to do, you're going to lose the weight. And I know you're not doing what I told you to do. So I don't know what you're doing, but go have a pizza and a beer on me. And I was like, what? So I think I got emotional, start crying. And I said, okay, give me another chance. Give me another chance. And so I left. And at that moment, for 90 days, I worked my, excuse the expression, but ass off. Do you hear me? But I went from 170 to 115 in 90 days. Now, it was the hardest thing that I had ever done in my life. But let me just tell you what really inspired me. No, not so much of the bodybuilding, because not everybody is in bodybuilding. People just want to be healthy. What inspired me to really help people and get certified at the time was my coworkers watch me just be disciplined. They watch me bring my food. They watch me put it in a cooler every day. They watch me carry around a gallon of water. They watch me shrivel. And they started asking me, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. And, and I did have some people that weren't so supportive. Oh my God, are you on crack? Whatever you're doing, you better stop. And, you're looking bad and that kind of stuff. But then there were people that were really excited about what I was doing. So I started sharing. Now I was paying because every time I went to her, she was like, it went from 60 to 70 to 100. And I'm like, golly. So it really started getting up there. But I was at the Xerox copy machine at the time, technology, it is what it is. My first show was 2003. I started helping people lose weight around me at work. And I stepped out on that stage and I came in first place for novice and I think third or fourth in open. But you're talking about somebody that I sat out there in that audience eating a Big Mac, cheesecake, saying, I want to look like that. And I was up on stage kicking ass and taking names. Now, back to that's how I really got started. It inspired me. And one of the things I want to say, what I love most about helping people was their goals, was reaching their goals. Because dieting is not easy. Sugar is my oh my gosh. It hurts me because I love
Nemesis.
it. Yeah. So after
Would you
that,
say, Shelley?
I kid you.
It's my nemesis. It's my kryptonite.
It's an addiction. And so when I stopped taking it, I went from that size 13, 14, 12, 14, whatever I was, to a size 1 and 2. And I really didn't know how. I had to go buy new clothes. But let me just say, after the show, because competitions are a whole nother world, I still wanted to remain healthy. So I think I ended in, just a little smaller, but being small is not for everybody. I really just wanted to be healthy, but that competition took me into a whole nother. So really, I became certified at that point through IFA. The reason why, because I was giving people copies of everything, but now I wanted to know how to help people lose weight with medical conditions, how to help women lose weight or live a healthy lifestyle while they were pregnant, how to help people aging. There was so many things I needed to know that I didn't know, that I was just helping people. But because they were doing everything I said, because they watched me, I decided, let me do this. So Life has been a roller coaster, up and down. From then, I've been on the bandwagon, off the health bandwagon. But then I decided to write a book, and I wrote my book in 2016, and it took me a couple of years just to even get it published. It was hard. Then I had to go back in and update things because technology is changing. So the book that I wrote, The Wait is Finally Over, and you can find that at thewaitisfinallyover.com. It's for the entire family. Somebody asked me, so why is your fitness book any different from the thousands of fitness books that's out there? I said, you know what? Because my book covers the entire family. It covers teen obesity, men and women, because we both lose weight differently, pregnant women, and aging gracefully over 60. So, or in that case, 50, because I'm 50 years old. And I could probably still run faster than the average 30-year-old and lift heavier than me. So when I say it's age is a number. And yeah, and at some point when I'm 90, I'm not going to be able to run a marathon. Well, maybe. But what I will say is obesity is an epidemic, and we really have to focus in on, what to do. So anyway, I talk a lot, but I don't want to go too much, but I just wanted to kind of give you my story.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We all have to. So, on that note, with the health and fitness thing, so I met Bridget on an accident. And just to find out, she was I would always look at magazines and say to myself, I want to do that. I want to do that. My health and fitness journey years ago, probably in my 20s, where you try and you try again until you get it right, until you start to know your body, until you start to know your habits. And I did that for years in my early 20s, late 20s, and into my I always was in the gym. I always was exercising. And then when I decided to compete in a competition, after saying it for 10 years, I met her in a hallway on accident because I knew no one that did a competition. I didn't know where to start. I was on the internet. Everything is different now. Social media is different now. I mean, you can just type things in and they pop up. And this was this 2008? I believe it was in 2007 or 2008. Yeah. 2008. Yeah. It was in 2008, and she had some photos, and I asked her if I can look at them. And when I saw the photos, I was like, "Oh, I want to do that." She conversation. That's how it started. We didn't work out at the same time. I did meet her husband because he knew my prep coach. It's a small world, though, isn't it? Yes. So my health and fitness journey started years ago, and I fought times, got back on. But I mean, first step to recovery, admitting something's wrong, and try again until you get it right. People, even when training them, and I don't know how many clients you have had in your life, Shelly, but for me, training people, it bothers you more because you want it more for them than they want it for themselves. Right.
That's
Does
true.
That make sense?
And mentally, just the mental motivation that they need. A lot of people don't come equipped with that. So you have to, you have to find the fine line between, am I babying you and coddling you? Or do we need to get to this, And it's like, and I'll say this, I did one competition in my life when I was 29. And it was INBF. It was an INBF Federation competition at it was in Columbia, South Carolina, at Fort Jackson. And I did this diet. It was brutal. But I trained. I had a gallon of, I drank the water. I did everything. And I started similar to Bridget. It was like my husband at the time, he did one. The problem was our son was 4 years, and it was like, kids don't eat the crust on pizza. They leave it on the plate. So I'm like, we're struggling. Like,
Right.
stuff the crust all the way down in the trash. Like, we would have those moments, and then it's like, you have the morning show where you're being judged, and then in the evening, and it was like we prepared, like we did the diet, he did a second competition, we did it together, and we had Tupperware bins of every snack that we eaten that we knew we wanted for like 2 months. We had Tupperware bins of Snickers and Twix and all this stuff that we in the hotel, like after the competition is going down. And then at night after you
It sounds
do because you in the morning, at night that's really for the audience. So after everything, it's like backstage, they had pizza and fried chicken and all of this craziness. And we had been eating
Oh,
clean for 2 months. Yeah. And it was
Yeah,
like, and then on top of
I've
that,
seen that.
the
Never
women,
seen that.
there was food, it was crazy. And it was like the women that were in this competition were they were military. A lot of them were military. So I got down to 118 pounds. That made me middleweight. Had I been 1 pound over, I'm sorry, 117. Had I been 1 pound over, I would have been with the heavyweights, and they were 140 pounds shredded muscle. And I was like, thank you, Jesus, that I am middleweight, because it was like only 4 of us. And I actually placed second in my weight class. But the diet, it was like after, it's like we had all stuff in the hotel, and I was like, I don't even want it, and it was like, I was good until maybe 2 to 3, and it's like I gained. I mean, I could look at looked at the donut and gained like 20 pounds, So it was like the mental side of it, and really knowing how to move forward and eat. We didn't know that.
It's challenging.
We were still motivated to work out, but we didn't know the food aspect, And so I struggled after that for, the next 7 years of keeping the weight off and having that number in the back of my head, like I can get down to 117. But I don't want to eat tuna and no carbs for the rest of, it was like finding the balance, and it was like we carved up the night before, like the morning of, and just the whole philosophy behind, no carbs or very low carbs for that amount of time, and then you carb up to bring your musculature out. I just,
it's not for you. It's
people don't know
no.
the habit.
It's
You're breaking up, but I can hear Bridget.
I can hear you too. It's not really
Okay.
healthy
Go ahead,
to do those
It's not.
ongoing.
Yeah.
I only trained a couple of people for competitions, but the majority of my clients were just men that just wanted to live a healthier lifestyle. So although I would give them my back and I'd show them pictures, I said, this isn't what you want. If you do, we'll go there. But if not, we're going to be able to put a plan together where you can have reward meals. And at the time I called them cheat meals, but really they're reward meals. They're meals where you can have a healthy lifestyle and still incorporate some small, meals that you like, serving sizes, everything. And really what it comes down to, my experience, is people just wanted it to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. It's going to take, and scales will fool you. And every client I had, I said, stay away from the scale.
Right.
We're going to get on the scale one time. And in the end, it's pretty much, it's going to be like night and day, but scales will fool you. They will depress you. They will make you give up.
They are finicky.
Yeah. I measured people by their body percent fat, and they could feel the weight loss through their clothes and the way that their clothes fit.
Right.
So my thing is right now we have I think, Dorena, we had talked, and there's 48% of African American people that are overweight, and a big percentage of that is
50
women.
no, women. It is women. 58% of it is women in the African community. We are the highest rate of obesity in the United States. And a lot of times, not a lot of times, most of the times, if you ask someone why they do not work out, they will tell you it's because of their hair. If you look it up, every article will tell you because Black women don't want to mess up their hair.
Girl, let it
For
go.
me, right,
Yeah.
cut it off, braid it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or just
all
look
of that
better.
is gone.
I mean, there's really, at this point, cannot take and prioritize weight, health, and hair. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Your health
Mhm.
is more important than your hair. Granted, I know you have to go to work. I know that you want to look a certain way, but your health is important than your hair. So I take health before I take hair. For me, I'm a hairstylist. My hair looks a mess up because I work out every single day, but I'd rather be healthy.
Right.
We just like we said earlier, it's an epidemic and we have to do something about it. And there's a small group of people like us trying to help everybody, but you're trying to help people who look like you. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people that look like us to be healthier, to be stronger, to get rid of all these health problems, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, all of it. It's just pretty sad that
Yeah.
out
I
of the
think
African
it's that people
American,
are
46.
thinking, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I think that we as women, we get caught up in this is the way I've always done it. And we can't be past. It's like,
Mhm.
it's this is the way mama ate, or it's like this is the way I was taught. And I think some of us get caught up in also our medical history and heredity, and we say, because even when when I went to the doctor, she not worried about I'm not worried about your blood work, I'm not worried about your cholesterol, it's a lot, but I'm not really worried about it. And she was like, you have a it's you said that it's a part of your family history. So what that meant to me was, what I heard her say was, well, your mama and your daddy had it, so deal with it. And I'm like, you're not the person
But
I really need to be talking to, because I want the number under
you're
200.
not.
Mhm.
So
And don't get me wrong. I know that there's a lot of things that are hereditary that do happen, but if you're doing things to try to prevent them, prevent the health problems, and then you still get high blood pressure or hypertension or high cholesterol, then it's hereditary. But
Right.
to keep saying that it's hereditary, I have a problem with that. Bad
Yeah.
eating habits is hereditary. Not
right,
exercising is hereditary. You have
right,
to do something to prevent it. You have to keep your cardiovascular going. I don't care if you walk 20 minutes but stop saying it's hereditary
Right.
about
Right.
it.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
So
The
Bridget
other
and
reason
I
why
talked about that when she said that.
Mhm.
Go ahead,
We
Bridget.
did.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, and with that, another reason why I wrote the book, because in the book, it does have things, because some people aren't comfortable in a gym setting. Men and women sometimes just want to work out privately. They don't want people watching them. So part of the book that I incorporated was, you have canned goods, you have water bottles. If you don't have weights, that's okay. You can take a can, a large can of beans or greens or corn, whatever you have, and you can do shoulder presses. I mean, because shoulders are a very small muscle, so you don't need a whole lot of weight for those. You can do the $5 bands you get at Walmart. There are so many, you can walk, if you got
Right.
steps, walk up and down them. 10, 15 minutes a day.
You can use your own body weight.
Absolutely. So push-ups. I mean, start with women and progressing to men. I mean, I'm telling you,
Right.
what I used to hear was excuses. And let me tell you another thing. One of the excuses I would hear with clients is, well, I work, I got the kids, okay, let me tell you something. When I done my competition, I had to work full time every day. Matter of fact, that my schedule was like 4 a.m. to 12:30. So I was up at the crack of dawn. Now, with that said, I still had to be a wife. I still cooked dinner. I still cleaned. I still had to pick up the kids from school. I had 2 dogs and I was breeding those. So that's a whole nother story. But when I
Wow.
tell you that I still made time to get into that
You
gym
made the
an
time.
hour. Even when I cooked dinner, do you know I still ate at the dinner table with my family? I just had chicken breast, broccoli, and rice. Now they might have had pork chop. And the reason why, because kids at that age, and my husband didn't eat, I mean, they wanted the fatty food, and that's okay. They were in sports, but at the same time, I've taught them as they've grown up how to eat and how to just live a healthy lifestyle. But when I used to hear excuses, and then the next excuse was I'm a single mom. Well, guess what? I wasn't always married. I did at some point move on and divorce. And guess what? Now I'm a single mom with 2 kids. Now I've got to drop kids off at daycare, school, pick them up from after school program. I still had dogs. Went from 1 to 2. And then I still had a job. I still made time to get in that gym and work my behind off, because the last thing I wanted was to start.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had to. And because when them kids went to sleep, I may have been doing push-ups. I may have been doing sit-ups. There were things when they was at school, that little bit of daycare frame I had, I would try. But what I found that I would say, listen, I'm going to lead by example. I was overweight at one point. And when I was comfortable, I still had the covers up here when I was in bed. I still wanted the lights off because I was self-conscious about my body, and it didn't feel good. So I was like, you know what? Instead of me worrying about my husband or later on in life, my man looking at something, I got to make it right with me, because if I'm insecure about myself, I got to fix that. Any other issues,
That's your
they got to fix
problem.
that.
Exactly.
Right. So when I changed my lifestyle, I promise you, it was a win-win. I was at that point, Dorena and I was talking about this, I put on a business top and was waiting at the door with stilettos. And that's all I had on, because I was so confident about my body that I was just like, boom. It took me into a whole nother level of my confidence that I never had. Yeah. Some of my clients was like, I'm okay being big. Well, come to find out, they really weren't. They were suffering in silence, because, some people can be comfortable with being big, but over time, yes, nobody wants you to be skinny, because you don't have to be a size 2 or a size 4 or a size 6. You could be a size 9, a 10, a 12, and be healthy, and feel good. But when you start getting up there where you're carrying a whole nother person around, the purpose for the whole BMI wasn't meant for all nationalities, I think, because every race is different. However, it is a guideline to keep you in check. It's a guideline to have you go to, because listen, think of it this way. If you're carrying around another person over time, the BMI was only put into place so you wouldn't break a hip, your knee go out on you. And over time, it happens.
And you know what people
it
do
is
with that?
it is.
That BMI is not for us. That BMI people. No, BMI is for people.
It's for everybody. Yes. Wow.
It's
Well,
for
then
everybody.
it goes back to what you and I said.
It's not for white people.
Are all Hispanics or all whites in our category? I mean, they found time.
Right.
They found a way to eat healthy. We
Right.
have to find
And
a
that's
way
what we
to
said
eat healthy
earlier.
as well. Yeah.
Right.
And there's
Gotta do
They
better.
can't do it because they work a job, or they have to go to work, or because they're a single parent, or because white people, Hispanic, Asian people work a job and they are single parents. You gotta find a way and time to put it in. I don't care if you wait till your kids go to bed and you walk on a treadmill for 20 minutes, or you do it in the morning. Do it 3 days a week if you can't do it 5 days a week. Start somewhere. If you can only do it on the weekends, but do something. Do something for your body,
Do
for your health to make you feel better.
Because we've all been there.
80,
We're
Yeah.
not sitting.
yeah, 80 to 90% of it is the eating. If you change your eating habits, look what Shelly did. If you change
Yeah.
your eating habits, that's number one in itself right there.
That's number one in itself.
The exercise is a bonus.
Number two is do not get caught up in comparison. It is a thief of your joy. So I am very inspired by a lot of people that I follow on YouTube or on Instagram, and I'm like, I'm gonna try that, but I have to still keep a goal in mind. This is for me. I'm not trying to compare myself to anyone because it will stunt you. It will stunt your growth and development. It will rob you.
It'll discourage.
It will discourage
It'll
you.
rob you of
So
your
that's
confidence
number two.
too.
Right.
Yes, that's number
Your
two.
body
Do them
gonna
and
change
do them in your own way, right, Shelly?
Your body
Exactly.
will change the way it changes. Dorena and I did a show. We stood right by each other. We was competing at the same show. Her body was beautiful. Mine was beautiful, but we both have different structures. So we still look different.
We're
Yes.
shaped different.
So
It can be
when
the
people,
exact same size.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's not about I want to look like her, but what I will tell you, when you make a lifestyle change, it does change sometimes the people that you surround yourself with. You can't
Amen.
really. I went through it. There was times where I couldn't hang out with certain people at work because, you know, I was trying to live a healthier lifestyle, and then they turn around and say, "Oh, you too good for us now. You losing all that weight. You can't hang out with it." I just can't eat what you eat. Sometimes people would put Skittles on my desk or drop off a donut, you know, being
Oh
funny.
my goodness.
But it is what it is. I mean, by that time, I was so mentally focused because
Yes.
I couldn't lose the weight until I determined that I had to, and it's something I wanted to do. And I mean, men and women can do it. You just have to have patience and want it. You
Yeah.
gotta want it. And
Absolutely.
So,
else,
what
like
is your
Dorena said,
definition of a health coach, Shelly? What do you define as a health coach?
My definition of a health coach is someone that encourages you to and has a set plan, tailor made for you to help you live a healthy lifestyle, not to lose weight, not to fit into your bikini, but a healthy lifestyle, a longevity.
Right.
Yep.
And you say the same thing because that's a good one. That is
I
just
have
about
to
right.
that. I would say when I was really focused on being a life coach, my focus as a life coach was to teach people how to eat, how to maintain, but more importantly, not to have to need me for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
My job was to train them how to do it themselves, because if I'm just going to keep taking your money, then something's wrong. There has to be a point in time where you know exactly what to do and how to do it. And you might have to touch bases with me every now and again. But my definition of a good life coach is to pretty much hold your hand temporarily and then let you off like empty nester. There you go. I've sent you all the tools that you need to learn how to manage and maintain a great, healthy body that you're happy with. Not your friend's wife,
because you
not
can,
your
right. You can help people so far. They, like we said, you wanted more for them than they wanted for themselves. I personally, I have to get some kind of gratification out of helping you. And if we're constantly doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's not a win for me, and it's definitely not a win for you. What did that lady tell you, Shelly or Bridget?
Oh,
she wasn't gonna work with you anymore.
No,
because she wasn't getting anything out of it.
No. And I found myself telling the exact same clients the same thing. I'm like, listen, I don't want to just take your money. It's over. I know you're at Krispy Kreme's. I know you're there because you love them. And you know what? After she done a show, I promise you, she said that she would wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning, because that's when Krispy Kreme's was open 24/7, and go and get a half a dozen donuts and would just gobble them
Not
up.
when the light
Then,
was when the light
yeah,
is on.
yeah, it was right, right. You a mess, right? The light was on. Yeah.
That's when they
So
are the
she
best.
comes,
You be
she
like,
said,
I
and
can
she
smell the
said,
glaze on your breath, ma'am. I know you've
yeah,
been there.
yeah. And she said, I just made it up with cardio. Well, that's not healthy for your body either. At some
It's
point,
not.
It's not, and
people
it's
would.
not healthy.
One of the things that I had a few people ask me, what is your feedback on weight loss surgery? So
Mm.
this is what I said. I said, listen, rather you have it sucked out, rather you have it stitched up, rather you have it cut off,
Right.
whatever the
You gotta.
situation is now, you still got to put the work in. Now, I'm not opposed if
You do.
someone wants to go and if it's healthy for them to get a big amount taken off, you still got to get your behind in the gym. You still got to work out. You still got to maintain, because I know someone who had that surgery 3 times. That couldn't be healthy
I know somebody
for,
that had
I
it a
mean,
I'm gonna
couple
need you
times
to
too.
see a
let's be
Yeah,
fair. Some
psychologist
because
feel bad.
because the mental part,
that's why
um,
they started doing
you
that. That's why they started doing that to people.
Yeah, because
you
it's
need it. You just lost a whole person, and
yeah.
there's nobody to help you psychologically process that. When you get that much, when you get like a gastric bypass and you lose 150 pounds, that's a person. You just lost a major
I've
part of
seen
you.
people
And if
go
you
through
don't have the
divorce when they've had those surgeries.
yeah, right.
I know my sister, you guys, I'm so sorry. But I've seen people go through divorce when they've had those surgeries, become sex addicts after they've had those surgeries, or they become addicted to shopping
Oh,
after they've had those surgeries, because it's something internal. The
Mhm.
reason
yeah.
why
Mhm.
you are
You just
eating the way
traded
you're
one addiction for
eating and why
another.
you
So getting the
sure
physical
Yeah.
did.
part
So now,
cut off or done is great, but mentally you're going
right,
to go back eventually to eating the
you're still
same
messed
thing
up.
that got
And
you there to
yep,
begin with. So you have to change. It's a wonderful thing to get the weight off, but if you don't maintain it, it's coming back, and it's coming back with a vengeance.
right.
Yes.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. I have a
Wow.
question, another question. What well, one is about the book. So you said that you tailored the book to everybody. So your book is tailored to pregnancy. Why
Mhm.
is that? What experiences
Well,
did you have with that? The reason why you put that in the book?
because I'll be honest, when before I got pregnant, I was 115 pounds soaking wet. I used to take weight gainer, 2 to 3
Mm.
cups a day. I was in the gym. I was very athletic growing up. So let me tell you how it doesn't matter. Now we do have muscle memory, but one of the things is I just thought I would always be small until I had my first child. I was 200 pounds when I had my daughter. Now, people said, "Oh, that's all baby." No, she was 6 pounds. What about the other 194?
Right.
So
Yeah.
194 with me was banana splits and
She said, what
everything I
about the
could put my
rest of
hands
it?
on
Right.
and put in my mouth. For real. I mean, I put everything. So when I say that, that's a whole nother show. When I say that, I wrote this book because when I was pregnant, I was putting on so much weight. The OBGYN at some point said, "Whoa, Bridget, you got to slow down. What's going on?" And I said, "Well, I stopped going to Dairy Queen and getting those little banana splits. And now I went and got all the fixing. So now I have plates of banana splits. I got 3 bananas and 5 scoops. And, you know, it got to the point where I end up with gestational diabetes. I end up having to have my gallbladder removed. When I had my daughter, they had to keep me extra because my blood pressure, and I had never had blood pressure issues. It was sky, and it's because I was overweight. And I just had let it, I just
Right.
lost control. And so, with that said, my son, I still gained weight, but not as much. However, when I wrote the book, I just remember being miserable. I still got up there. I was like 180 when I had him, but then I plateaued at 170. I wrote it about pregnant women because some of the pregnant women I worked around had knee issues because they were getting so heavy. A lot of them were already heavy before they got pregnant, and then that additional 50 pounds which the doctor only recommends 25, was even. I mean, it was. So I thought I'm gonna put something in here about pregnant women on how to just live a healthier lifestyle while you're being pregnant, so it doesn't affect the baby and it doesn't affect your health. So really, I was motivated because of my own personal experience. And honestly, there's about 15 people unknown in this book, and they know who they are, that I got feedback on Facebook. I said, every one of you, tell me something. Give me something that you need help with, and I'm going to write about it. And I'm going to give you a free copy of the book. And one of it was a truck driver. He said, how can I eat healthy on the road? So I thought, okay, so I came up with a plan for that. Um, Despite there being so many fast foods, it's not the greatest, but I'll use, and I'm not getting any promotion or anything for Wendy's, but I will say when I told him to go to Wendy's and just get a beef patty and a side salad with no dressing and or
No
chicken
bread.
breast plain,
Right.
no bread, and a baked potato plain, and that's what you eat. And believe it or not, I said you can eat healthy. Is it satisfying? But if you want to live a healthier lifestyle, you got to get somewhere at some point. So I mean, the weight
Got to
didn't
pick
come
and
on
choose. Yeah.
overnight. So all those other people, I literally wrote something up and answered their question in the book. So it was just, so that was the whole reason for pregnancy, just my own personal experience, and then knowing pregnant women that had a lot of health issues just from being pregnant and overweight. So
Right. And then Shelly, you're a consultant, and what company do you consult for? You're a consultant for is it Arbonne?
Yes,
And what
Arbonne.
do you like about their healthy products?
What I really love about the products is that they're all vegan products, and the company produces over 400 products that are, I mean, in skincare, makeup, and nutrition. They're all vegan. They have a 100% transparency ingredients policy where you could literally go onto the site, type in, um, you can type in lemon and it'll pull up every product that has lemon extract or something like that in it. And the company is not manufacturing in the US. So what I found out was that the US only bans like, I don't know, 15 harmful ingredients,
wow.
bans or 2,000.
Oh
And so
wow.
very uh, exciting for me because I was looking for something that was going to be clean that I didn't have to worry about. And I was like buying everything on Amazon prior to that, not really knowing where it was coming from. And I was picking and choosing what I thought was the best thing for me, but I didn't have like that one-stop shop experience. So it was like I would get vitamins on Amazon and then I would go to Whole Foods and get like
Right.
you know, everything that I was using, I'm not saying that it was bad. I just don't know that it worked well together. And so we have a full line we have protein powder, we have energy fizz sticks, we have a digestive enzyme, which these were things again that I was buying on Amazon, but I'm looking at 8 to 12 pills a day, of digestive
Okay.
enzyme and all of the vitamins that I thought I needed. And then, the protein instead of pea. And so my body wasn't digesting the whey protein the way it was digesting the pea
I bet
protein. And
it
so it was
wasn't.
all just so
Right.
much, going on. And so I needed a system that would help me get from point A to point B. And it was like I joined this group of women and men
Mhm.
that were becoming products of the product. And I was like, really, just like, this is really appealing to me to see women and men that are living a healthy lifestyle and they stand by the products that they're using and they believe in the products, to the point where I just kind of was just like, I want in, and it just became, a lifestyle for me where I was just using the products and talking to my friends about it, like, hey, this is really working for me. And it was like, I, how you're at work and, you know how you get into a groove of doing things. It was like I said, I was going and buying things, on Amazon or at Whole Foods. And so I bought a very powerful liquid vitamin from Whole Foods. And it was great, but I didn't realize that it was like literally coming through my pores. And so um I finally, like, I had like one drop of this liquid landed on the sleeve of my shirt. And I was just like, wow, it's really this is a really strong smell. And my coworkers were like, girl, you always smell like a old lady up in here. Like, you smell like vitamins all the time. I'm like, what? Nobody told me. It was like vitamin, it was in my hair, it was in my skin. And I was just
Oh,
like,
wow.
wow, I like the benefits of the liquid vitamin, but I don't want the smell. And so Arbonne has a multivitamin that is a powder that I can put in my protein shake. And it's like, there's a digestive enzyme. It is a powder that I can put in my protein shake, so it was like, it just made everything
Yeah,
so much easier
easier.
because, again, I was taking 8 pills a day just to maintain and walking around smelling like
Right.
a vitamin, a big old vitamin. Um, so I just really fell in love with the products and the ease of the products and how it was easy to digest everything. And then they followed up with free recipes, and we're in a Facebook group where we are accountable to one another. We
Right.
have healthy articles in the group. We have the accountability. It's a community. And I just kind of fell in love with the whole philosophy behind it. And I trust these products.
Right.
And so this was the first time I could say, you know what? These products didn't come from another country where there's no transparent what's in it. And I don't want to have to do the research every time I order something on Amazon or wherever and have to read the package insert to figure out, is this really going to work for my body?
Right.
So
Right.
I just love the whole nutrition line. And then I got hooked on the makeup. I play around in the makeup, and the skincare
Mm-hmm.
again is natural, it's vegan. And so I felt like, okay, I'm feeling better about my skin. Leave your skin clean out the inside. Your
Yes, it
skin is
does.
going to improve. And then it
Mm-hmm.
was like, once my
Yeah.
skin began to improve because I cleaner and I was on the 30 days challenges and I was doing really well. I was like, okay, how do I protect my skin now? Whatever you put on your skin eventually ends up in your bloodstream. So why would I use
Right. So you gotta be careful.
Vaseline, because that's what mama and big mama used Vaseline on everything.
Right. Clog your
Okay.
pores all up.
Right.
I'm 50 years old. I can't use Vaseline anymore. Okay. I'm not going to use Vaseline on everything. And
That's
so
right.
and to use the skincare that was women myself, in my age range that needed more, and it wasn't heavily perfumed and chemically induced. It's a healthy product. It's a healthy alternative. So that is why
Right.
I became a consultant, because I'm a product of the product. I believe in the products. I love how I feel. I
Right.
love the what happens with my skin. I mean, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we've got
Wow.
everything from protein powder to protein bars and stuff that we used to just stomach, just eat it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best tasting. I'm just going to eat it because I know it's good for me. And I mean, I can honestly say these products taste just as good as they are healthy.
Right.
Vegan protein powders have come a long way. We know they used to taste like chalk and make your throat sore. Okay. So now, it's like, it's not as gritty, and they've really done a great job with cleaning up their nutrition line. With to keep up with the times, I have to say their nutrition line is pretty top notch.
Right.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna
So,
have to try the powder.
mhm.
I take a lot of vitamins too on a daily basis. That I will say to people is you've had a whole year, and I'm saying this because of the COVID, of the pandemic. You've had 1 year to get your health in order because they did say pre-existing causes the COVID to have you sicker. So you've had 1 year to lose weight. You had 1 year to get healthy. You have 1 year to get on a regimen. If you've not done it, do it. Do not hesitate. And speaking of your vitamins, and I'll ask you this afterwards, but people need something for vitamin D3. If you look them up, immune system, bone health, zinc system, vitamin A, immune system. You need to take that stuff every day for your immune system to keep you healthy. Vitamin C, a probiotic, but you have to take something for your immune system. Orange juice is not just gonna work. You can't just take orange juice. I mean, I know years ago people just drank some orange juice and good, but there's so many different things in your food now that all of the vitamins that you take, the 3 vitamins that you take, just those 3 or 4 in the morning. I take all of those in the morning plus a multivitamin. So I take 5 in the morning total. Do you guys have do you guys have a D3 oil? I love my D3 oil. Or vitamin A or zinc? Does Arbonne have something like that?
We don't have an oil. The multivitamin is pretty complex with everything that you need, but I do agree with you as far as vitamin D. We're already, Black women, Americans seem to be deficient in vitamin D across the board. And what I found out too, I mean, what I found out, just from the medical field is that vitamin D deficiencies mimic depression. So a lot of times you go to the doctor, you're going to the doctor for one thing.
Right.
They're prescribing something for thought to check your blood work and find out deficient in the things that we could be getting in our vitamins, right? And in our minerals. So it is something that we need to pay closer attention to because this is big pharma is big money. So you rather treat me for depression and have me walking around like a zombie instead of giving me the prescribed amount of vitamin D that I need. Exactly. So to answer your question, no, we don't have an oil, but the multivitamin is solid.
And we need to be out in the sun.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said we need to be out in the sun more. That also will help with our vitamin D. Like when people say the sun makes you happy, it really does make you, because you are actually getting vitamin D in your system, which keeps you from being depressed. And being outside should make you happy, but the sun, you need that vitamin D. You need it.
Especially now. I mean, the isolation from this pandemic can take some people to a really dark place that they don't need to go. Just go outside. Get some fresh air. Don't just go through the drive-through. Walk around the neighborhood. So
I saw that Bridget's screen was breaking up. Hopefully she'll get back on. I was just about to ask her another question. Okay, so what for you, what are the pros and cons as a health coach and a personal trainer? What are the pros and cons for you? Oh, the signal's bad again.
Oh, it says I'm muted. Can you hear me?
There it goes.
Okay. Yep, so the pros, I'll start with the pros because I haven't identified a lot of cons just yet. The pros for me is that I get an opportunity to I think one of the con is that people can analyze and it's time bound and and that type of thing, and a lot of people come in with unrealistic expectations. They believe in, what has been advertised to give them extreme weight loss, or, a lot of people are like, oh, I intermittently fast. Okay. There's a difference between intermittently fasting and starving yourself,
Right.
because that is why we eat breakfast, right? To break the fast from all night, so you cannot go 18 hours a day and eat 200 calories and expect to, and it's like, well, I've lost the weight. Of course you did.
I
You
can't
lost the weight
hear.
because you're starving yourself.
How to back
So the
on? How are you
cons
going to back on?
are,
Right.
I would say the cons are breaking through myths that people have about weight loss.
Right.
It
That's
is.
a con.
Yeah.
The pro is, for me, is educating people on the myth, and backing it up with science and saying, this is how
Right.
you were created. This is your body.
Right.
This is how you were created. Calorie deficits are not sustainable. It's not,
Oh,
It's a fuel
you
fiber.
know.
You feed
right.
bodies feed on fuel.
Right.
Yes. So those are the biggest pros and cons. I get an opportunity to really educate people and help them, but breaking the myths is probably the biggest con and an objection that I run into, and people coming up with, just really unrealistic expectations, and not saying, not understanding
Right.
time bound and the to lose, 20 lower body percent, or what have you, saying in the next 20 days, I would like to lose 20 pounds. Like it's,
Right. Right.
there's a
Right.
big
Right. Right.
difference,
And,
so.
and what about for you, Bridget? Pros and cons in the
Oh,
fitness
I'd have
industry.
to
What are the
second
pros and cons
Shelly.
for you training people? And right.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
I
Okay,
can hear you. Go
my
ahead.
battery died. Sorry about that. So
So,
make sure your computer's charged before you get on this. I wanted to actually step back just a little bit ago when we talked about natural things to eat and vegan and vegetarian. You
right.
know, anything in excess can put weight on. I mean, it's too much. Anything in excess. So
Right.
what I've seen
Right.
is some vegans and vegetarians that are overweight. And I'm like, I have this
They
thought
think
process
because they're
that
vegan,
if you were
right?
vegetarian or vegan, you were gonna be small.
It would be
No.
skinny. Right.
So when I've had people that I know tell me, and this people I hung out, hey, I don't eat that meat, I don't eat this and that. What? Well, what are you eating? Because some and whatever they're eating is too much because those
Right.
carbs are going to add
Right.
up, and so you
Right.
can't. I mean, the purpose. I know there's a whole story behind vegan and being a vegetarian, but part of it is also wanting to rid your body of things. I'm sure I've got to do some
Right.
research on it
Right. Because I do that. I
because
do that
there
at
were
least
some
once a
gigantic
month.
vegans and but on the other note, I was going to say one of the all natural things I try to do is just water with lemon. I love water with lemon. I don't think I can drink it without lemon. But peppermint, I just want to go over this. Peppermint
Hmm.
works
Hmm.
differently, and this is from the book. I've got just some few natural things that you can
Go
do
ahead.
at home, and get Shelly's because I want to fall back with Shelly because those products sound really good. And if she believes them if she's standing by them and they work. And that's I will never
Right.
stand behind anything that I don't know or I don't think that works. No, because I'm going to
Exactly.
be using.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I want to hear about more about that. But some of the things I wrote down in my book is oregano. This herb is known to reduce constipation.
Hmm.
I mean, who knows this
Yep.
kind of, I mean, people just don't know these kind of things, which is right in your cabinet. Or you go and you get some fresh oregano from there's farmers markets, there's, organic stuff. But anyway, it reduces constipation. Sage, like peppermint, sage reduces stress and the compulsion to
Yep.
eat. So ginseng is the root of a peppermint plant. So these two varieties both equally ineffective for weight loss. So these are
Right.
things that you could just cut up in your water. Peppermint is wonderful. Peppermint is another helps reduce the people from wanting to eat. So it's a stress buster. Simple peppermint.
Right.
So, and I used to grow a ton in my back. Once you start growing that stuff, it seems like it never goes away. But back to the pros and cons, I just had to step back to some of those things because it was important. Anyway, so back what Shelly was saying, people have unrealistic expectations. You can't lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks unless you just starve yourself. I mean, you really have to get the weight off. You've got to condition your body to work for you. And when you're consistent with your body, it will be consistent with you. So if you're consistently eating and feeding your body, we only get the one body. I mean, it's a shell. Once that's done, I mean, so you got to take care of it because that's all that you get. So, so the pros and the cons with a lot of my clients was, I mean, the unrealistic expectations, even some clients I lost because one thing I'm going to say, and this is so important, when you do decide to go on your health journey, which should be now, not next week, not because I have a cruise coming up, not because the beaches are open, and not because, you know, whatever the case may be, it starts today. You go through all that garbage out of your refrigerator and you start today. You know, go to the grocery store. I mean, depending on where you at, some people are snowed in. But let me tell you, so stop putting it off. Stop thinking, okay, I want to do this for my wedding, my anniversary, my birthday. It starts now.
That's the funny thing to me is people wait.
They wait. And it's like, just do it. And then the other thing was make sure you have a cheerleading squad and that family, friends, your loved one, your partner, your husband, your wife, whoever it may be. And the reason why, because it could be a really bad thing for you if you don't have the support, because I can't tell you how many times clients will come to me crying, oh, my husband thinks I'm cheating, or he wants to know why I'm losing weight, or my wife thinks I'm cheating because I'm losing the weight and she's not. You know, it was things like that where you've got to have somebody in your corner, because if you don't, it's never going to work, because those same clients that walked away and said, I can't do it, is threatening to leave. And the issue, unfortunately, you just have to make sure you sit down with your partner, your wife, your husband, your friend, your girlfriend, your best friend, and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is for me. Support me. Because if you have a support group, you're going to be successful. So, I don't know if I really got
with social media, with social media, it's easy. There's so many groups out there. You can follow Shelly. You can follow me. Mine is FunFit D. Shelly is Shelly Price on IG. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. We put things out there to kind of help people. We don't get paid for it. We just want people to be healthy. We put exercises up there, workouts up there, food. Shelly's always cooking something. I have a once a month live cooking show that I do. So get on social media and find a group, because a lot of times people around you in your surrounding areas, your family, your friends, your coworkers, a lot of people are not going to support you. It just is what it is. I mean, you'll hear the silent name calling. Oh, you skinny. Oh, why are you doing that?
Or you
like
think
Bridget
you're too
said,
good to hang out, or now you live in a life.
Speaking
of that, Doreen, real quick before I forget, because I did write this down. Your strawberry salad dressing is the bomb.
It was good, wasn't it?
Let me tell you something. That was
I need to go back and watch a video.
And that was, go to her site. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Now, I missed a lot of the live stuff, but I go back. I said,
but you can go back and get them.
No, wait a minute. I went in and I made me some strawberry, and for me and my husband. Promise, man, we ate. He was like, what is, I was like, this is strawberry dressing. We ain't got to go out there
and I made it for somebody else.
We don't have to go out there and do the store-bought. We can make this in-house and eat it all day long.
Cheap. And it's cheap. Strawberries, white wine, vinegar, olive oil. It's cheap. A little bit of
and you can make a ton of it.
And
what I mean, honey, a ton of it.
Yep.
You make a little bit, and then the next week or whatever, when you want to have a salad or just a serving size,
There's only
eat
4
it every
ingredients.
day.
That's it.
It's
4
wonderful.
ingredients.
It's
That's
amazing.
another myth too that we need to address. That people feel like it's more costly to eat healthy, and eat clean, and organic is more expensive.
No.
But you are more satisfied when you are eating the healthy greens, grains,
Colorful
the
foods,
healthy
exactly.
stuff. I mean, like
The fiber.
and it's all a setup, because when grocery store, the quick unhealthy things are so readily accessible to you right there, and then
Yep.
you see people just
Right.
bypass the whole vegetable
Right.
section, the produce section, to
Right.
go to the quick aisle. And I'm like, do you
Yep.
not see this gold mine that's right in front of you?
All
And
this
Right.
beautiful
you
food
can
right
buy
there.
this
And your
and
body's
make
calling it.
4 times as much as what you would have done at Panera Bread and Starbucks. I mean,
Right.
we all love Starbucks, but if you are going to go spend $9 a day at Starbucks, you might as well go get some bell peppers and some onions and some kale and
Yep.
work it out,
$70.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
speaking of that you
Yeah.
said that, like you spend, it's like $70 worth of groceries. I bought, and I put it on my gram. I did veggies, so I did a whole lot of different veggies, and I made 2 different meals with those veggies. I made one, the exact same veggies, was a stir fry, and the other one was soup. Exact same veggies. I can eat for
Wow.
3 days, and I didn't even spend $40.
Yeah.
So, and I'm
And
laughing.
Right.
Bridget was talking. It is. You were talking about the being vegan. A lot of times, what happens is when people are vegan, they overcompensate because there's vitamins missing in their diet. Like we
Okay.
all need iron. We all need certain things in our body. So what happens is vegetables, but then you overcompensate with carbohydrates because there's a lot of things missing. With that piece of it, you have to read so you can learn how to eat correctly as a vegan. I
Yes.
probably could be a vegan tomorrow. I don't think I've had any meat for the last week and a half. I've just been doing veggies. Veggies are good for you. You can make lasagna, veggie spaghetti. I mean, there's so many different things that you can eat. Just like it's the stir fry and the soup. I did put some shrimps in my soup. I mean, in my stir fry. But there's so many different things you can make with vegetables. But what happens is a lot of people who are vegan will overcompensate because they're thinking that they're being healthier by just being vegan. But then they're eating everything else bad outside of that. And the carbohydrates is what's bad for you.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
excess.
And so,
Yeah.
so I'm glad you told me that. I was like, I got to do some research on this. Another thing, because I was like, I don't know what's going on here. But another thing in the book is about depression, poor quality of life. Being overweight can alienate you. You will, again, you don't have to suffer in silence because you can start doing something about it. Don't think that you're so big that it's too late. Don't think that you're so big that you can't afford the surgery or whatever the case may be. Start baby steps. You know, surgery is dangerous and you take a chance on it. But if you can get through it and survive it, maintain a healthy lifestyle. At that point, read up on what you have to do to maintain that weight loss and to tighten up your skin. Because when you lose rapid weight like that, your skin is saggy. I knew someone that I worked with many years ago who got and she was embarrassed to even take off her clothes because of the skin was dragging so badly. It was she felt unattractive, but she had lost a whole person, but it was very saggy and it wasn't. So she ended up doing some other things. But one of the things that she did start to help was started working out, because that our body is like a rubber band. Our skin is like a rubber band. You have to work it out and it will tighten up. So just when you guys get a chance, I make sure you pick up a copy either online, a hard copy, or even online, because it's cheaper online. It's $10 and it's worth it's worth it because it covers depression, it covers teen obesity, it covers men and women, it covers aging, over 60, but over 50 in our, we're in this. You're seeing three ladies.
What's the cost of your program?
It's $9.99 for an online copy, and I think $17.99 on Amazon or Barnes and Noble is the cheapest one for the actual book. Yeah, so the hard copy is between $17.99 and $21.99, I believe. So because
I'm looking it up right now.
Right.
Let me just tell you about that. I spent years trying to, and part of it was just lazy. I would write things down, then I had to go back and change things. But I self-published. I started this book from scratch, and it was my passion to help others. And I wanted it to be reasonable cost so the whole family could get not the whole family, but one book for the family. Hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you can do. This is what you can do. So it covers a lot in just a small little book. It has about 38 chapters, about 138 pages, very, very small book, but it has a lot of information in it. And I just want to throw that out there but it's nice to talk with ladies like this because we're all 50 plus on this call. I mean, so we're here to say that we've been there.
And we don't look a day over 30.
No, hey, girl.
I feel good. I mean, and now my hair color started trying to tell my age, but my hair color started trying to come out and tell my age. But I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace that. I'm going to embrace my natural white hair, and so I'm just, but I'm also going to continue to attempt and do everything I can to live a healthy lifestyle, to have meetings like this, and to encourage ladies and men around me on how to do it, because we're here for that. And I mean, that's our passion. It's my passion. So anyway, I'm done on my soapbox. But yeah,
you said you're done.
Yeah, I'm done on my soapbox because I get passionate.
We've been on 90 minutes. I hate that we lost our crowd.
Yeah,
I think the conversation would have went on a little longer if more could have gotten logged in and asked questions. I do apologize for the signal. I don't know what was
trying to ask a question. They text me and said, "How do I make a comment or ask a question?" But I wasn't sure how. So
they would have to be on the live. So they'd have to be on Facebook Live.
Okay.
I sent it to your. They can just type right under and we can.
Yeah. So either way, they.
Because you were also messages too, weren't you, Shelley? When you were.
I can't. You said what now?
I said before we logged off the first time, you could see the messages as well, right?
Yes,
from the people that were watching.
Yeah, I still see the chats. I don't know who's on now, but I see Davina was on, and I see some people that were on. Yeah.
They'll come back and probably look at it later.
We wouldn't have lost it. They can look at it later, and I'll continue to share it until the next show. I wanted to next. I will be what men want in a relationship. And that's going to be April 12th.
I will be on that. I'm here for it.
Are you going to have a special guest
6
for that?
Okay. Yeah, I'll have a panel of 6 men who will be actually chatting with me and with you guys. People will be able to call in and ask questions, or you can just type them in and they'll see them and we can just read them off. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I think it's really going to be a good show. So it's what men want in a relationship and what they're not getting. So we need to hear it.
Oh, I mean,
really good. I'm here for it. Wait.
I just want to. Yeah.
And
I just want to eat some strawberry salad. I just want to eat some of your strawberry dressing with some salad and watch, instead of popcorn. I'd be like, ooh, this is good.
And watch it, right. So it should be, there'll be age groups of 30-year-olds, a couple 50-year-olds and 50-year-old. And all of these men are single. I'm looking forward to
Oh
you
You know
yes,
something,
I'm
what?
on
girl.
there.
So
I'm
Make
about
sure
maybe
to.
you send me a link of
What date
that.
is that?
Serena.
it's on it's April 12th. So you guys tune in.
Oh,
Whoever comes
good.
back to look at this podcast, tune in April 12th. It's what men want in a relationship, what
And
they're not
share that
getting.
with me.
Hey,
And it's going to
need
be
to put it on my
true,
calendar.
open, honest conversation. We might hear some things we don't like, but
Ooh,
sometimes we
The truth
hear,
hurts.
right?
Sometimes the truth does hurt.
It
So, and
does.
that's okay.
So on April 12th, I do want to say I think it's great that we can positively impact people's lives through health and diet size. It's amazing to me what you put in your body, right foods
yeah.
in your body to make you feel better on the outside of your body and make you look better on the outside of your body. I thank you guys so much. We have to do this again, and maybe next time I could have more people on the panel.
We'll
And
do
this
part two.
signal, right? We'll do
Part
we'll
two.
do part two
Yes.
in a couple months. But let me go up here. Let's go to Shelly's IG. Shelly Rice on IG, and she is an Arbonne consultant. If you're interested in her, which are powder, I'm going to check them out, Shelly, because I do get tired of taking a lot of
Me too.
pills. And then Bridget, you can go to thewait'sfinallyover.com to get her book, or you can get it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. I thank you guys so much. I want
Thank you for
everybody
having
to
us.
remember that you are
Absolutely.
beautiful, you are strong. Thank you. And
Yes.
every day is a new start, you guys. Thank you so much. Love
And
you
start-
guys.
Love
Love
you
you too.
too.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
You too.
Guys, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.